The semiconductor sector was up about 44% in 2021. So when we first started recommending semiconductors back, last spring, my inclination would have been to buy the semiconductor index, the SOX. But now I do think that, we know that the semiconductor revenue pool is going to double by 2030. And so absolutely you need some holdings in semiconductors in your portfolio. But in our view, it's time to be a bit more selective rather than just buy an index, because there is some danger as supply builds up and the supply chain shortages ease that you could run in, that we could run into an oversupply issue.
What's your take on the SMH, Chris?
Well, certainly it's been leadership, and it's been leadership for a number of months here, but it just stands out to me that some of the bellwethers in the semis, like NVIDIA, for example, has actually not made a new high here. So I just think we need to raise our antenna a little bit. They've started to hit certainly all the internet names, all the software names. Ultimately, does that mean that they're going to move on to the semis? I agree with Emily's view here. You kind of have to pick these apart one by one. There are names we like. Micron trades well. I think AMAT is okay here. But just watch some of those real momentum names. They have not made new highs here. NVIDIA comes to mind. I think that's a real bellwether for us.
What about you, Emily? Which are the names that you say are worth keeping in your portfolio, even if you think the group has mostly peaked?
Yeah, well, in 2021, Taiwan Semiconductor was up 12% when the rest of the index was up 45%. And it surged by about 9% in the last couple of days. And there's no real material news that would drive that kind of increase other than, there's some minor things, but other than the fact that it's simply at an attractive price. We also worry about a name like Micron a little bit because it's in more of the commoditized part of the semiconductor sector. But we like the equipment or tool manufacturers like Lam Research, for example, or Applied Materials, which was mentioned here. So, yes, I think it's important to be in companies that are going to be insulated from the cyclical nature of this sector.